Greetings. Well, let me start off properly as I'm in my bed chamber. Hey, Tep, sisters and brothers, welcome to the house of divinity. I am Proof B, or Professor Bates for long. Greetings. So, I was sitting here on the laptop as usual in the evening, and a couple of things happened today before I got on the laptop. Well, lately, not just today, but lately as I've been getting older, I've been thinking about how much I talk about and I guess kind of promote my male heroes. Like Muhammad Ali is my superhero. Like he was like a real life super guy type dude hero. Malcolm X, etc., etc. But what's been on my mind as I've gotten older is, even though I think about them, I find it hard to come up with names of woman heroes. You know, I speak of my mom, of course, because of course she was the first. Not only just the first, she was a great mom. She wasn't great. I would say like, no, she beat me. No, mom was great. Believe that. But after the 70s and beyond, and just in general, in this so-called society, Western society, they don't push a lot of the women who are behind of almost all of the superheroes like Muhammad Ali. Da, da, da. We hear about him, and oh, he had a wife, or he had a few wives, a couple of wives, whatever, and a couple were, one or two was like really down with what he was doing. You know what you got to do to be down with a person like Muhammad Ali or Malcolm X, or even somebody like what's his name, Martin Luther King. These people who are in the national eye back in the 60s. Now I'm talking the 60s and 70s, so it was a whole different mindset. So that's why I'm making this video. So the point that I wanted to make is that a lot, TV was new. We had a TV because my father was a TV repairman. So in my mother's house, we had a TV. One of the few on the whole block or the whole neighborhood, probably. But, we used to sit there and watch in living black and white. Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali's fights, blah, blah, blah. We didn't read about it in a book. I grew up looking at these people, and my mother brought me to, rallies with Malcolm X and people like that down in Harlem. Real shit, not no book. I'm not getting on you book readers because you have nothing else. Snoop Dogg? Really? Anyway, so as I'm getting older, I'm starting to think about the women besides my mom, the women who were revolutionaries with the men back then, and maybe even now, but they not on TV today like they was back in the 70s. You know, I see a whole thing behind that. They put people on TV and made them famous, and then they killed them. So that's a whole nother story we won't get into. Anyway, so, but there were women who were revolutionary. And a lot of the times it was the woman who started some shit. And a kind of example, not like I'm talking about, like Black Power and let's do our own thing. That's how it started out. And somehow that became, let's do our own thing, became, let's get all we can from the government. And then that became welfare. And then that became, oh, the women got jobs, da 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 da. And we are in the situation as a group of people that we're into today. We got genius children born amongst us. Might be the next Jesus. But you think they're going to come back to the hood? What is there in the hood where we live that they will come back to? While they're in school, somebody, not one of us, is going to come to them and say, yo, here's $1 million. Go play basketball. Go play football. Yo, here's $1 million. Go be a scientist at MIT, FBI, CIA, NBC, CBS. Don't go with those black people. So, if I'm lying, if I'm wrong, show me a 7-foot guy in the hood. Show me a 200, 300-pound guy that can run 40 miles an hour in the hood. They're on the field. Anyway, the point was, and let me get to the point, because I always get off the point. The point was that me personally have a hard time thinking of women heroes, superheroes, heroes, and I had them in the 70s, but then after the 70s, you get it, crack came out, and then rap came out, and then blap came out, and now again wherever the hell we at as so-called African Americans, black people, what else they call us, Negroes, and I'm not gonna say the N-word because that's what most younger people call themselves now. Oh, it's okay to call yourself nig. No. Anyway, so there was some heroes. Like, I'm going to try to remember to put a link to Assata Shakur. You understand? Look these people up if you haven't heard about them already. You might have read about them, but that's all you can do. Look at a video. And what got me inspired to do this tonight was yesterday on the 9th of December, Nikki Giovanni, who was a poet I remember from back in the 70s, and I didn't keep up with her, but she kind of changed over the years. But back in the 70s, she was like a poet, a Assata Shakur type thing. Her poetry was about our struggles and all that type of stuff. So hopefully, these videos that I do will hopefully be a record of some of the stuff that, you know, record the days when we had love for each other. We loved our afro. We loved our skin, or we was learning to love, and then somebody came out with crap and a lot of other stuff. Here's Nikki Giovanni with a few other sisters.
You know, your mama always says that if you're a nationalist and you're talking bad about someone else and you're not doing anything to, you know, to get them where you think they should be, then it's you. Because if you're that hip, then you should be hip enough to change them.
God dang commercials.
Even more personal.
Painters, why do you always paint white virgins?
Roberta
Don't
Flack.
you know there are beautiful black angels in heaven also? Painters, paint beautiful black angels. Pintar, nacido en mi tierra, con el pincel extranjero. Pintor que sigues el rumbo de tantos pintores viejos. Aunque la Virgen sea blanca, píntame anhelitos negros que también se van al cielo. Todos los negritos buenos.
I used to wonder who I'd be. When I was a little girl in Indianapolis, sitting on doctor's porches with post-on pre-debs, wondering would my aunt drag me to church Sunday, I was meaningless, and I wondered if life would give me a chance to mean. I found a new life in the withdrawal from all things not like my image. When I was a teenager, I used to sit on front porch steps conversing the gym teacher's son with embryonic eyes about the essential essence of the universe, recognizing the basic powerlessness of me. But then I went to college where I learned that just because everything I was unreal, I could be real, and not just real through withdrawal into emotional crosshairs or colored bourgeois intellectual pretensions, but from involvement with things approaching reality.
Nikki
I could possibly have a life.
Giovanni.
So catatonic emotions and time-wasting sex games were replaced with functioning commitments to logic and necessity, and the gray area was slowly darkened into a black thing. For a while, progress was made, along with a certain degree of happiness, because I wrote a book and found a love and organized a theater and even gave some lessons, some lectures on black history, and began to believe all good people could get together and win without bloodshed. Then Hammarskjöld was killed, and Lumumba was killed, and Diem was killed, and Kennedy was killed, and Malcolm was killed, and Evers was killed, and Swerner, Cheney, and Goodman were killed, and Louisio was killed, and Stokely fled the country, and Leroy was arrested, and Rapp was arrested, and Pollard, Thompson, and Cooper were killed, and King was killed, and Kennedy was killed. And sometimes I wonder why I didn't become a debutante, sitting on doctors' porches, going to church all the time, wondering, is my eye makeup on straight? Or withdrawn, discoursing on the stars and the moon, instead of a for real black person who must now feel and inflict pain.
Pintar si pintas con amor, porque desprecia su color, si sabes que en el cielo también los quiere Dios. Pintar de sal, de alcoba, si tienes alma en el cuerpo, porque al pintor en tus cuadros te olvidaste de los negros. Siempre que pintas en iglesias, pintas anhelitos bellos.
Roberta Flack, well, took me by surprise. He's singing in Spanish, so if you don't know Spanish, get a translator. And Nikki Giovanni, who was a poet who passed away, as I said, yesterday, December 9th, exactly 1 month after I was born, November 9th, but way back in 1956. And Nikki Giovanni, Roberta Flack, Asada Shakur, a lot of women, my mom, a lot of women of our so-called race, black, African, colored, Negro, were my heroes. But I realized that because they wasn't pushed like the males were, as in most Western societies, they're not in my memories as much as they should be. But this is to Nikki Giovanni and to all my moms, grandmoms, great-grandmoms, moms and moms and moms, back all the way back to the beginning. Mom, sisters, I have daughters. So that's the other thing that happened today. I talked to my daughter, and we always talk for a while. Out of all the children that they say are mine, in my old age, this is the only one who keeps in contact with me. So yeah, so all that came together today. Nikki Giovanni passing yesterday. I talked to my daughter after a few months. Da-da-da-da-da. To the sisters, for real, to the sisters. Moms, aunties, all that. Peace. I'm out.